guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, elementary, middle, and high school age. We are in our 13th year homeschooling this year. Today I'm going to be sharing some fun first day of school traditions with you, so let's get started. Now, I have to let you know that we are actually in our 5th week of homeschooling for this new school year. And if you've seen any of my first day of school vlogs and planning and all of that stuff, I do have links to all of that stuff in the description if you're interested and you haven't seen it already. This year we decided to do, we meaning I decided to do 2 first days. So I've kind of adjusted how we are running our homeschool year this year. I've talked about it at length within my homeschool planning series for the year. So the bottom line is that we started July 10th with a slow start, and I am using this first 6 weeks of school to really get used to all of the resources, to understand how long things are going to take, to focus on passion projects, to make sure that our rhythm is the way that we all want it to be. And so that is our first 6 weeks of school. Then we're going to take a week off, and then we will have our second first day of school, the week that all of the public school kids go back to school. Most of my kids' friends are all in public school. So we kind of have like a not back to school week as well. Now, typically when we start school, I have everything already. I do new school supplies. I have special treats. We do first day of school interviews. We take pictures, all of that kind of stuff. But this year we definitely took a different approach. And I think that that's really actually a good thing for us personally. We had a crazy year last year. It was so busy in the fall, and then in the spring we were playing a lot of catch up, trying to get things to a place where we felt good about the year as a whole. And so it was just really, it was a really crazy time. So when we started July 10th, I did some of the things that we do typically on our first day of school, and I've pushed some to our next 6-week block of time that we will be schooling. So I'm going to share both of those things with you. If you've seen my vlog from our first day, you will have already seen a lot of it. So I will actually start there. Some of the most important things that I find for a first day of school are really trying to get to know the new resources and figure out logins and how long different subjects are going to take, what order you want them to be in. Those are all things that I like to try to do ahead of time before we start school, but honestly, I'm unable to plan that because I really don't know, because every year, even if they are resources that I've used with my oldest and that I'm reusing with my younger two, it's a different child. They have a different experience and it takes a different amount of time. They have different motivations, all of that stuff. So some of the first day of school things that we typically do are look at our new planners. I do planners for my kids. I do have reviews for the planners that they are using. Emma is using an Erin Condren A5 compact vertical, which is perfect for me to write out her list for her high school subjects. Each week I will write in her planner, and then she writes additional information that she wants to do. Jack, I am using a planner, the middle school planner from Not Consumed. It is an undated planner. It's pretty neutral. I think it is a faith-based planner, so if you're not interested in that, you would have to cross out quite a bit of information, but it works really well for us. It has some habits and some space for some new habits. So things that are daily things that I want him to focus on, there's space for that, as well as me writing out his list for the week. And then for Lucy, I am using an Erin Condren weekly schedule pad. I have purchased pretty much every version of these since I found out that they had them many years ago. I used them for both Emma and Jack before they started using planners. Around middle school is when I start getting them an actual planner. So we go through all of their planners, and actually I did get Lucy a kids planner this year, which she's having a lot of fun with setting up the calendar each month because it is undated, and doing some of the fun activities. It's not a planner, it's more of like a monthly calendar with some fun activities within it. So those are some of the first things that I do. And then also showing them all of their resources. I organize their curriculum and resources in milk crates. I do have a video on how I organized everything. It makes my life a little bit easier to have everything in one bin. I started doing this years and years ago when we lived in a home with no closets. And so everything had to be out, except we did have an armoire, and that is where I would store our homeschool stuff. Otherwise, it was just everywhere. And to be honest, a lot of times those crates were just left out on the floor because that was the easiest thing for me to do in the moment. Now they are actually sitting over there on my office floor. I haven't decided where to put them, but they are working quite well. I divide everything by subject, and so the kids will go through their resources. I mainly pull like the first quarter of resources. I do not have everything that we're using for the entire year. That would be way too overwhelming. Some of the things they will use continuously throughout the year. Emma will use chemistry all year and Spanish 3 all year and algebra 2 all year. Same with Jack and some of his resources. But we do a lot of literature-based learning through Sunlight, so I will only pull the books that we're using for the first 9 weeks. I don't include every single book in the bin. They wouldn't fit. So actually they're over here on my shelves at the moment. So that is another thing that we do on the first day of school. Now, are those like fun traditions? I mean, it kind of depends on how your child is. If they like planners and going through books, then they would probably enjoy it. If they're kind of iffy on starting school, it could be a little bit different. The next thing that I do is actually something that we have not done yet. We will be doing that during our second first day of school, and that is first day of school interviews. So many years ago, I was looking for fun back to school traditions, and this was one that I found. This is from a website called Positively Splendid, and I feel as though she's actually changed the name of her website because I don't think that is what it used to be called. So perhaps it has been sold to somebody new, or maybe I'm just misremembering, which is also possible. So she has these first day of school interviews for each grade. I think it's K through 12. She might have pre-K as well. And I have been using these for years and I love them. I think I started when Emma was in first or second grade, but before that I would do my own interviews and I would write down their answers just with questions that I came up for myself. But I really like these. I like that I have one for each year. There are also end of year, like last day of school interviews, which we don't do, but these are a free download on her website. I will leave a link in the description box. I have Lucy, who would be in third grade if she were in public, Jack, who would be in 8th grade if he were in public, and Emma, who would be in 10th grade if she were in public school. I just use whatever the equivalent age grade is, even though Emma is doing her 3rd year of high school and Jack is doing mostly freshman level courses. That's just how we do it in our home. So I have these interviews. I'm really excited. It's really fun for me to see the answers that they write down each year. And I always get a little bit of new insight into things that they're interested in, which helps me to focus more on their passion projects as we are working throughout the year. Another thing that we really love to do on the first day of school is getting all new school supplies. I love school supplies. I have always loved back to school shopping since I was very little. New markers, new pencils, new pens, notebooks, all of that stuff is so much fun for me. I think that it's translated into me being very much a planner, enjoying having all of the different planners and doing all of that kind of stuff on paper. It's so much fun. We have done new backpacks in the past. Typically, I will pack their backpacks with all of their school supplies. We didn't need a ton of stuff this year. We did get a few things, and I actually have a back to school haul video that I will leave linked for you. And we needed a few things, and I do try to get a couple of new things as well that I don't really tell the kids about. But things like backpacks, we've gotten backpacks one year, we've gotten new lunch boxes because I do like my kids to pack a lunch and snacks in the morning before the day starts. We haven't been doing that right now just because we're still in summer mode, even though we're doing school. We haven't fully gotten back to our fall rhythm, which won't be until, the beginning of September. But I do love having them pack lunches and snacks so that they are not thinking about food during the day and I'm not thinking about food during the day. It helps our day to just move a little bit more smoothly. So they will get new school supplies, and that is a lot of fun for everybody. Even though we all go shopping for school supplies together, they enjoy opening up all of their new stuff, especially because I do include a couple of things that I don't tell them about ahead of time. Another thing that we like to do is first day of school pictures, and these could be anything. I typically will do that on the first day of public school. It's not necessarily the first day of our school year or even the first day of our second session of 6 weeks. I typically will do it on the first day of public school because all of my friends are taking pictures of their kids and posting them. So it's always fun for me to do that. Typically on those days, my kids are still in pajamas, and it's just kind of funny. We've had nicer picture days, and we've had everybody laying on the floor in a messy toy room pictures. So, it's fun for me to see the different pictures every year. I do try to take nicer pictures as well in the fall, but for our first day of school pictures, it's usually rolling out of bed, pajamas, or, reading on the couch or playing outside or whatnot. So that is another thing that we do. Another tradition that my mom actually did with my brother and I when we were growing up was taking us out to breakfast on the first day of school. We would go to the local breakfast place. We would get Belgian waffles. It was a fun tradition. We do not always go out to eat for breakfast, but sometimes I do like to go to the local coffee shop and get, a treat for us because everybody else is in school, and it's kind of fun to be able to do that. The next thing that we will start in our second session during our first day of our second session is our wall of questions. Now, the wall of questions actually came from the book The Brave Learner by Julie Bogart, and the way that she describes it in her book is to take a day and you give every child a little package of sticky notes, and they can write whatever questions they want and put them on a wall. And then at the end of the day, you pull all of the questions off and you answer a few at dinner and maybe throughout the following week. However, my kids love the wall of questions so much that we leave it up for months and we just continuously add questions. And I think it's a lot of fun for them to randomly write questions. They will write all kinds of different questions. Sometimes they are silly, like, may I play on the Switch now? May I take a break from school? And sometimes they are, how many people are called Tom in the United States? And so there are a lot of different questions. I think we started doing this, whatever year that Julie's book came out, we started doing our wall of questions, and it's been a fun activity for us every single year. And we include it at different times. It will not go through the whole year. We will do like a section in the fall, and then usually in February when we're all kind of like in that winter slump period, it's another great time to have a wall of questions. Another thing that is a great first day of school tradition is to do a vision board. Now, we tend to do vision boards in January. You think about goal setting, and the turn of the new year is when you want to be setting new goals. However, I think that there's really two New Years in a year. January 1st, and then when you have your first day of school. Now, we have done our vision boards for 2023, but I think that it's always good to revisit them and see what has been accomplished, what goals they have achieved from their vision board, and if there are things that we still want to focus on throughout the rest of the year. However, if you have not done a vision board or your kids have not done a vision board for the year, this is a great time to do it. And then instead of using January through December, you can use the start of your homeschool year to the end of your homeschool year to focus on whatever the vision is. My kids will cut out pictures from magazines. They will also have me print off pictures that I can just find on Google. They write a lot of words and goals associated with those pictures, or the pictures are representation of something that they want. It's a lot of fun, and it really helps me to figure out some ideas for passion projects, because passion projects is another thing that we're really focusing on this year. And because my kids are kids, they need a lot of direction still. I don't expect them to be able to pick a project and figure it out start to finish on their own. That is not the goal here. The goal is for me to mentor them and to help them have direction, to ask questions, to sort of funnel them in the right direction to accomplish whatever this passion project is for them. So a lot of times when my kids do a vision board, because I let them do whatever they want, this year I think one of Emma's goals was to sing with the group Home Free, which is an a cappella music group, and we saw them in concert last year and we just love them, and she wants to sing with them. Is that going to happen this year? No, it is not. But perhaps at some point she will be able to sing with them, or at least meet them. You just never know. It's fun to see her put that on the vision board, because then you can see, okay, well, she really values singing and music. And so how can we foster that? What are the things that I can do as the mentor, the parent, to help her to continue to grow in that area? So that is kind of how we use the vision boards. I think it's a great first day of school activity. Everybody's really fresh, has a lot of ideas and dreams of what the year could look like. So that is another really fun thing. Now, some different things that you can do on the first day of public school are things like going to the beach or going on field trips where you know that public school kids will not be there. Things like going to your favorite coffee shop, or going to the library, or going to a museum. All of those things on the first day of public school are a lot of fun, and it's kind of a not back to school tradition instead of a back to school tradition. A couple other tips that are not necessarily traditions, but just to help you get into the right frame of mind as you start your new school year. Don't start with all of the subjects, just start with one thing, get that under your belt, add the next thing. You don't have to start on a Monday. A lot of people will suggest starting on a Wednesday. I think a lot of public schools start on Wednesday. I like a Monday start. I like a full week, but that doesn't mean that we do a full week of courses, of classes. So just start slow and enjoy the time with your kids. Start to figure out what you want your rhythm to be like. What kind of morning do you want to have? Do you want to have a laid back, relaxed morning, or do you want everybody to be up at the table, ready to go at 8 a.m.? And it takes a little while to figure that out, and every year is different. There have been years that my kids have been super early risers, and we're starting school at 7 a.m. and being done at 11. Now, that was when my older two were in elementary. Now, Emma and Jack, it takes them, I think Jack is usually done with most of his work by lunchtime, and Emma is usually around 2 o'clock, depending on her lunchtime run. If it goes really long, then it might be 3 or 4 o'clock. But just figuring out how you want your mornings to start, what your rhythm is going to be like, what are the things that you're going to work on first. Sometimes that is going to be the hardest subject of the day, and sometimes it's going to be a subject that you guys all love, like a read aloud or something fun to help set the mood for the day. It really depends on you and your family as to what will work best. But the first day of school does not have to be all of the subjects. The first day of school does not have to be really rigid. You want it to be fun and you want to kind of ease into your homeschool year. So those are my ideas for the first day of homeschool. These are the things that we've been doing year after year. It's a lot of fun for us. It's a little bit different this year to kind of have two first days, especially like with the school supplies and stuff. We haven't really started with any of that stuff. We haven't done any paint or markers or drawing or any of that kind of stuff. So it's just been a little bit different this year, but we are having a great start to our year, and I hope that you guys are all ready for the start of your year. If you've already started, I would love to hear what you do on your first day of school, or if you have some plans for this year, let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.